When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
Alright, hello guys, welcome back to the Grease Comedy YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to be talking about Robb Stark and the changes that D&D made to his character in the show. I want to hear your guys' thoughts right before we get into the video, before we start breaking it down and talking about it. Do you guys like the changes that they made to Robb Stark? So in the show, Robb Stark is much more of a main character than he is in the book. We get more like POVs where Robb is like alone or not with Catelyn. We get more of the relationship between Robb and Talisa than we ever do with Jeyne and Robb. And part of that's because it's a way different dynamic in the book versus the show. So let me know what you guys think. And before we get into the video, if you did want to become a member, you do get videos early and some exclusive content. We're doing some House of the Dragon stuff leading up to the show coming out. Kind of doing the Black Camp this week and next week leading up to House of the Dragon coming back. Also, thank you to my members who support this channel. I appreciate you guys as always. So let's get into the video. So the main thing that you need to look at is Robb and Jeyne in the books are, it's not really a love thing, right? It's more Robb's in a state of emotional vulnerability. He's just taken an injury in the crag area. He is, gotten the news that Bran and Rickon are probably dead and that Theon, someone that he considered a brother, has betrayed him. So a lot of emotions are going on. Plus, Robb has already lost his father as well. Nobody has heard of his sister, and Sansa is a captive. So in a lot of ways, Robb is feeling the guilt and the emotions of losing family members and regretting maybe some of his decisions. So Robb, in a moment of weakness, and it seems like he was set up, right? It very much seems like the Westerlings made sure they placed Jeyne doing his healthcare. Why would Jeyne Westerling, the daughter of a lord, be the one that was overlooking Robb's like healthcare? Why wouldn't it be a maester or somebody else? It definitely seems planted that Robb was going to sleep with Jeyne. And there even is the idea that maybe it was a love potion given to Robb, because even afterwards, it doesn't really seem like Robb and Jeyne have that dynamic that we see kind of in the show, where in the show, Talisa and Robb have great chemistry. The actor and the actress, they have great chemistry together. The lines between them are great. You really feel their romance. The book, it's not like that. The book, it feels like Robb is really just doing his honor and his duty because he slept with Jeyne. He's now forced to marry her or else she'll be dishonored. And so that's why he marries Jeyne in the books. Now, in the show, it's kind of different. In the show, it's still kind of this idea that, yes, he's going under a lot of stress and turmoil with the war, given everything I talked about earlier, Bran, Ned, all of that stuff. So there's that part of it, but it's also that Talisa, and the actress that plays Talisa is an incredibly attractive woman. And she's also, it helps that she's intelligent, has a great personality, and Robb just kind of starts to fall in love with her. Now, it kind of makes Robb look a little more dumb in the show because he kind of is in this position where he's not vulnerable, but he is. And it's just kind of like, okay, it kind of comes off more as like Robb is just kind of horny in the show. And one thing I will say, and why I don't think it ruined Robb's arc, is that it still played that theme, right? It still played the theme of love versus duty and honor, right? Because Robb is choosing love over, his alliance and his oath with the phrase. When they hook up, that's literally the first thing that they talk about is like, I hope that bridge was worth it, right? Because he's weighing that, right? It's Robb weighing his happiness over this oath, right? And for Robb, he's looking back at that decision and he's going, well, why did I make that oath in the first place, right? Ned has died anyway. That didn't really help me. Yes, I gained Jaime as a prisoner and all that, but the war still is kind of going at this time, right? Renly dies and, Robb seems like he's in a good position, but then as the story goes on, it seems less and less like that. Robb's under a lot of stress, and so he finds a bit of happiness and, I guess, compassion with Talisa. And I think the reason this change was done in the show is because when Talisa dies, right? Because in the book, Jeyne does not die at the Red Wedding. She's at River Run with the Blackfish. I think, again, I've always talked about this. I really believe the reason D&D took this project, and I hope you guys understand when I say D&D, I mean the directors. I know somebody got confused the last time I did a video talking about D&D, but I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about the directors because their names both start with D. But besides the point, getting back into it, though, the whole reason they took Game of Thrones is for the Red Wedding. It's made quite clear. They make Catelyn a more likable character. They give more scenes to Robb to make him a main character. so that when you get to the Red Wedding, you know, you have two main characters. Robb and Catelyn are by far two of like the fan favorite characters at that time in the show. Outside of like, you know, characters like Tyrion, Jon, and Daenerys, Catelyn and Robb are right there up there. And so when you add in another part of that, that makes it even more tragic, of Talisa getting pregnant, you know, naming their kid Ned right moments before the Red Wedding happens, it's this tragic situation in which it really enhances the Red Wedding, and it's, you know, how tragic it is. Robb watching his wife die in front of him, you know, his child is dead as well. The whole reason that I believe the Talisa thing was there was for the Red Wedding. It was supposed to make this tragic scene, whereas like in the book, it's the best written chapter I've ever read, in my personal opinion. But what they wanted to do is they wanted to try and up it, right? Because you don't get to see inside Catelyn's head, I think D&D tried to kind of compensate, and I think it really worked by doing other elements that you can't really show on screen, because Catelyn, we're inside of her head. You know, it's like a roller coaster, right? At one point, Catelyn thinks, oh, Bolton forces are coming in. They're going to save the day. And oh, wait, no, the Boltons betrayed them. So you don't have that up and down emotional state with Catelyn. It just kind of all happens all at once. And so they added in Talisa in this because she's a very likable character, right? Talisa is by far a very interesting character. She has some very unique background. She has great chemistry, like I've talked about with Robb. It's very similar. Like within that season, you have Ygritte and Jon. They have great chemistry. Same here with Robb. And you're really excited for, you know, the couple of Robb and Talisa. They were kind of that, you know, perfect couple of, you know, nobody really gets to find love in this world. It's a lot of arranged marriages. And that all kind of comes crumbling down in season 3 for Robb. And so that kind of gets us to the point of this, right? Do you guys think that the Talisa change ruined a bit of Robb's arc? I heard kind of both arguments. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I think both do their love interest for Robb quite well, and then there's a reason for it being there, and both of them are trying to tell different things. So I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. This is a very divisive topic, I know, and so let me know down in the comments. Be respectful, please. You know, I don't mind if you disagree with me or you agree with me or whatever, talking to other people in the community in the chat, but just please try to be respectful and all of that. But I will see you guys all in the next video. Hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.